Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about what I believe are the best centers in this year's NBA draft. So, before we start, I want to hear those beautiful opinions down below. So, guys, yes, finally, all five position groups are done. Again, I want to hear those opinions on anybody I missed. Let's go through the list. Like and comment while you're at it. Subscribe. So, yeah, some people might be looking at me like, huh? I'm like, huh? Yeah, I think the centers were the most interesting because I think this is where centers are all a lot more opinion. I think you can mold any center out of clay and make it work. Evan Mobley, arguably, he's better than James Wiseman. Arguably the best center prospect since Karl Anthony Towns, or even I think he's better than DeAndre Ayton. I think the thing is with Evan Mobley is he can play the power forward. I think he's gonna be a guy that people think he's a center right now, but he's gonna come into the NBA, and somebody's gonna realize, look, we should probably play you how like Anthony Davis plays, especially if he figures out his shot. Maybe the first few years until his shot, he feels comfortable doing everything. He plays center, but then one day he's gonna be like, I like taking advantage of these little small power forwards. Let me just play with them and have some slow-footed guy go at the center position. But this guy's awesome. He does everything. He's a good rim protector. He moves well. He's a pick and roll ball handler and a good pick and roll defender. And he's shown the ability to step away and shoot, even though he's only made 12 3-pointers this past year. Kai Jones, asterisks around him. Some people think he could be a stretch four. I think he's a center. He's a modern day perfect center who can guard every single position. He has the versatility, the athleticism. I actually saw him play in person. Also with Greg Brown. I saw Kate Cunningham. I saw a lot of people play in person because I go to KU. And he's a guy, elite athleticism. He's one of the most athletic guys, elite shot blocking ability, and he's a lob threat on the other side. He's going to be a guy, especially for a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder or the San Antonio Spurs, even the Charlotte Hornets, where I believe he's going to get drafted. Teams that play in transition would love him. And his only thing is kind of like thin and could be a bit of a project, but besides that, he should be a guy who could be maybe not an all-star, but a key contributor for a contending team. Evan Mobley's like an all-star floor minimum, all NBA type player in my opinion. Alperen Sengun is a guy who just won the Turkish League MVP, and he was ridiculous. He finished third in scoring, fourth in rebounding, and second in blocks in that league, and he is probably the best, besides Evan Mobley, the best offensive center in this year's draft. He can do it all. And with that being said, I think obviously he's not like Jokic type level passing, but I think he can be a guy who can average like 4 assists a game. He's shown to not be the best defender. He could be Enes Kanter. I'm not saying that because they're both Turkish. I'm just saying in the sense where they're just kind of guys who, even on their best days, they try really hard on defense. They're just kind of rim protectors, not quick enough to go out. Like, I hope he can develop into a guy who has the motor and, like, the physicality just to be a two-way guy. Kind of, like, just come in, offensive guy, and then just put the work in. That I really do believe he can. And just kind of have, like, a Marcus Gasol type defense. Yeah, you're not the quickest guy, but just pure hustle and smart basketball, like high basketball IQ, you put yourself in the positions to make those plays and to be successful. Now Isaiah Jackson, he's another guy kind of like Kai Jones who has the potential, not as well. I don't think he's as athletic in the sense to guard all 5 positions, but he can definitely guard some guards, like as in shooting guards, but he can definitely guard wings, power forwards, and any center. 6'10" with a 7'3" wingspan. And he has this like explosiveness. Like he can be a guy who could be rim running in transition, be shot swatting, and yeah, he averaged 13.7 rebounds and 2 blocks, but I think it was like per 40 minutes he averaged like 5 blocks a game. I'm really high on Neemias Queta. This guy, so good. 7'4" wingspan, 6'11" and a quarter without shoes. So basically 7 foot with shoes. He averaged 15 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks this past year, leading the NCAA with like 97 blocks. And the only other college players that average similar or better stats are Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and Robert Williams. So that's like a good floor and a good ceiling. And I think he's a guy who should go get drafted by the New York Knicks, and he could start day one being, I think his freshman year he averaged 3 blocks. The second year he averaged like under 2 blocks or a little over 2 blocks, and this year he averaged like 3.3. So strong motor, guy's gonna come in. He's from Portugal, so he's just a beast. Chip on his shoulder, come in day one. People are gonna be surprised, but you'll hear it first from me. I actually want to switch this. It says Deyron Sharp in front of Charles Bassey, but I believe Charles Bassey should be in front of him. I like Charles Bassey. I think he reminds me, like, frame wise, as a more athletic and in better shape Andrew Bynum. Does anybody else see that? Can someone comment down below if you're at this part of the video? Does he remind you physically as an Andrew Bynum, like athletically and more in the modern game? This is a guy who 3 years in college now. He's shown the ability to be a guy who can grab any rebound off the glass. He plays at a high motor and has high intensity. He can rim run on the fast break, and he is a guy who has the potential. He does have really. He could be a guy who could actually be an all-star. Really, I think he could be an all-star. Might be like a few years, but has played 3 years of college ball. Okay, he can hit, stretch out. He has the willingness to take three-pointers. He averaged 17.6 points per game, 11.6 rebounds, and 3.1 blocks. If you're putting up numbers like that in college, you're definitely going to be a guy who can average double-double. Like, maybe he's not going to be a 17-point scorer in the NBA. Maybe he's a 12-point scorer in the NBA who maybe hits 1 or 2 3-pointers a game and then gets the rest at the foul line or inside. And he gets maybe 8 to 12 rebounds a game at most and gets 1 or 2 blocks a game. I see that being him, and he could really be that. Now, Deyron Sharp, he's a weird guy. He's really just good at rebounding and passing. He's not even the best center because he's defensive guy because he's really heavy-footed. So he's really just not good. He's just tough, can hit some. He's good inside on offense. He can pass really well. I'm not a fan, but like some people are. Tell me if you're a fan. Jericho Sims, a guy that I'm a little bit high because his athleticism, 44.5-inch max vertical and a 37-inch standing jump which were the best of the combine for the position. And he averaged the past 2 seasons over 1 block a game. I think he could be a guy who could average a block a game, come in for a contending team, being their backup center, and just give him like ability. He has like a 7'3" wingspan, so he's awesome. I can't say this guy's name. Is it Huckporty? Tell me if did I say that right? Huckporty. Also, I did not fix this. He is 7 foot, 251 pounds. Ariel Huckporty. I just found out about him. Okay, this guy, I'm going to read you this. This is what Petrie.com had. I synthesized it. Huckporty, tell me if I said that correctly or put the enunciation down below on how to say it correctly. On defense, with his reach, 7'2.5", 7'2.5" wingspan and shot blocking ability. He makes it difficult for offensive players to pass over or around him, clogging up passing lanes. He's averaged 1.2 block shots and 7.4 rebounds per game. His ability to track down offensive rebounds and finishing offensive plays with putback dunks is impressive. Huckporty was essentially a man playing against boys in Lithuania despite his age. At just 19 years old, standing 7 feet and weighing 250 pounds, he has a strong post game with a reliable hook shot. He uses his size and strength well, but also is light on his feet with good footwork. While he isn't necessarily a speed demon, he's coordinated enough to get up and down the floor. Huckporty can face up a defender and take them off the dribble with good ball handling skills and can lead a fast break or go coast to coast with ease. 21 games this season, he averaged 23.5 minutes a game. Huckporty needs work on his long range game as he took few 3-pointers and made 27.7% of his attempts at 3. Shot selections may also be a concern as he only connected on 41% of all his shots. That means his field goal percentage. However, the good Basley outweighs the bad with the center, and it's hard to imagine why mock drafts project him getting the second round. He looks like he could be a potential surprise late first round pick, and very likely is a second round pick because competition is deemed far inferior. I did add a bunch of shit in there even while I was saying that, like impromptu, but when I was writing this, I added stuff. Then Luka Garza, look, he's not mobile, old school. Somebody's gonna take a flyer on him. I don't even think he's gonna draft it. But that's it for me. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Comment, like, all that good shit. I'm going to go downstairs and hang out with the girl.